So we're just going to start by getting into our joints a little bit of motor movement. So start with, what do we call this? Knees pointing diagonally out and left foot in and right foot by your side. And first, take the hips up, take the hands behind the hips, my goodness, words. And then we're going to just push back and shift the legs the other way. And just keep repeating this movement. And then be aware of trying to keep length in your spine as you come, move the legs side by side. And it means that probably your sit bones will start to shift forward a little bit, and that's fine. You might need to readjust. But we're just getting into the mobility of our hip joints. And maybe you don't need the support. You can bring your hands up. And then that's just more work for the hips to be really controlling the movement. And then if, like me, you've edged far forward, then just come back onto your rug, to your magic carpet, and then bring the left shin so that it's in line with, it's in line. And then the right leg comes back so that you're kind of in like a S shape, like a five shape with your legs. And then take hold of the left foot with your right hand and just turn to the left side, lengthen the spine here. And then switch the other way, so right leg comes out at a 90-degree, left leg back at a 90-degree. Take hold of the right ankle with the left hand and look up. And then shift back and back. So it's essentially very similar to what we were doing before, but it's just a bigger movement with the hips and more kind of awareness of how we're placing the legs. And last one to the right. And then just come back to center. And you're going to need a wall for a minute. Come and stand by the wall, and we're just going to open our shoulders. So take the right hand onto the wall, and then bring your right hip next to the wall, and you're reaching your right arm far behind you. So, do you have space?
Yeah, just.
So you just should feel a big stretch on that right shoulder. And if you want more, then you can start to turn your toes towards the left a little more. And then look back at the hand and walk the hand up so that your right arm's now reaching diagonally back. And then bring the chest back forward. And maybe walk the feet towards the left. See if you can open out towards the left even more. Big stretch in the right shoulder. Turn towards the wall and then switch arms. So the left hand comes behind you now. And try and keep your left hip on the wall. As you push the hand into the wall and use that traction to turn your chest to the right. And then look back at the hand, walk the left hand up so it's diagonally behind, and then turn back towards the front. And maybe start to turn towards the right. Turn back towards the wall and then come away from the wall and back to the floor. So starting now on all fours. Inhale, lift the chest up, lift the sit bones up, exhale, round. Noticing stiffness you might have in your back from the night's sleep. So consciously sending oxygen to any part where you feel a crick. Bringing some rotation into the hips as well, so it's just a really fluid movement. Stretching out all the muscles in the spine. Using the tailbone to round and lifting the chest up. Come to all fours, flat back, and extend the right leg back. Bend the knee and reach the left arm forward and back, taking hold of the foot. And release. Switch legs, extend the left leg. Bend the knee, reach the right arm forward and around, take hold of the foot and open. So feeling that openness you've already created in the shoulder at the wall. And release. You probably want the blanket underneath your knees now. Just going to come down into Anahasana, puppy pose. First with your forehead on the floor and your hands together in prayer on top of your head. Opening up both shoulders. And as the chest falls down, also pull the ribs up and back. And notice how much more that lets you feel your shoulders. And then release the hands in front of you. Hands push firmly into the floor. You can keep your forehead on the floor or drop your chin to the floor. And then start to let your body fall forward, so your hips start to come forward until maybe there's a point where your chest is on the floor. And then push firmly into the elbows and bring your chest forward, drop the hips down. Inhale, Sphinx pose. Gentle stretch to release the muscles in the back. And then push into each fingertip as you begin to straighten your arms up. Push the feet down and feel the legs lengthen away from you. Really strong in the legs. Release the glutes. And see how the strength in your legs can help you come up further. I mean, it's probably like a millimeter, but I still can feel it working. Exhale, drop the head all the way down, come onto your right cheek. Bring your hands outside of the mat, so away from you, onto your fingertips. Push down with the fingers, inhale, look over your left shoulder. Turn the head, look over your right shoulder. Bend the arms, come back down. Repeat this time, coming up to the right side and over to the left side. Up through the left, over to the right. Up through the right and down over the left. Rest your cheek on the floor. Take hold of both feet and pull the feet in towards your sit bones. And as you do that, also think about pulling the shoulder blades together and lifting the shoulders up. So legs are still on the floor. We're opening the quads as we pull the feet in. We're also staying active with the shoulders. So the shoulder blades come together and then slide them down your back. Bring the head forward. Slide the hands onto your ankles. And then push the ankles into your hands and use that force to lift yourself up. Exhale, release. Take a moment here, left cheek on the floor. We're going to come up again. Just take a breath. And maybe this time you want to move the hands onto the feet just to see what difference that makes. Look forward, inhale, and exhale, lift. And exhale, release. Let the feet drop. Just rock your hips back and forth for a moment, releasing any tension. And then bring your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes, push up, plank pose. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg comes up. Bend the right knee and open the hip out to the right side. And as you open that up, stay strong with the left leg. So keep pushing out through the left hip and the left hand. Don't let that side of your body sink in too far. And the weight is still evenly distributed between your left and your right hand. Shoulders in one line. And once you have that alignment, see if you can lift the knee up a little further. Bring that foot slightly more in towards your sit bones. And then slowly start to bend the knee in towards your chest. Push the floor away from you as you come forward and step the right foot between your hands. Drop the left heel down and rise up, warrior one.
Gotcha.
We're in warrior one. Hips facing forwards. And really strengthen the back leg. Push down with the right big toe. And look up at your hands. Sink a little lower into the front knee. And then drop your right hand down behind you and take it onto the left outer thigh. So twisting the right shoulder back, but then keeping your left arm to the left side. So you're not twisting the whole torso, but really opening the right shoulder. Inhale, both arms come up. Extend the front leg and either bringing your hands to your hips taking hold of the elbows behind your back, or maybe coming to reverse prayer. And then start to fold forward over the right leg, come to flat back. Adjust your legs if you need to, I do. Push down with the right big toe. Move the heels towards each other, push the right hip back, and drop down over the right leg. Inhale, come back up. Back to warrior one. And then arms down, step back, chaturanga, all the way down. Push up into cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Bend the knee and open the hip to the left. Again, not collapsing into the right side, so weight between the two hands. Right hip pushes into the socket. And then bend the knee, slowly bringing it towards your chest as you push down with the hands so you can round the spine and step the left foot through. Right heel drops back and inhale, warrior one. Look up at your thumbs, strong back leg. Bring the left hand down behind you, reaching for your right outer thigh, opening the left shoulder as you keep opening the chest out to the right. So really, really getting into that heart space. Inhale. Straighten the left leg. Hands on your hips. Take hold of the elbows behind your back or come to reverse prayer. Push down with the left big toe. Lift the chest and hinge from the hips as you start to come down. Again, adjusting the legs if you need to. And moving the left hip back as you drop down. And inhale, come up. Reach the arms back up, warrior one. And exhale, hands down. Chaturanga, all the way down. Inhale, Bhujangasana, pelvis to the floor. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up. Bend the knee and open the hip. And this time, keep opening the hip as you lift onto your left toes and step the right leg back. And reach your right arm up and over. Lifting the hips up to the ceiling. And then bringing the right hand back down and around. Inhale. Right leg comes through. Step it through, drop the back knee, and inhale, reach the arms up. Untuck the back toe, bring the hands together behind your back, reach them away from you, Sink the hips forward, open the chest. Feel your shoulder blades pulling together. And then bring the head up first, and then the arms. Frame your right foot with your hands. Tuck the back toe. Drop the left heel down and cartwheel your arms up into warrior two. Come into peaceful warrior, drop the left hand back, open the right side of the body. Keep sinking into the front knee. Cartwheel the arms back as you reach the right hand forward and drop it down, lifting up into Ardha Chandrasana. Feeling the space we've created in our shoulders, so you really reach the arms away from each other. And maybe you can bend the left knee and take hold of the left foot. And if you can, keep thinking about opening the left shoulder. So we're in a kind of half bow. One-legged half bow. Release the foot. And we're going to come back to warrior two as gracefully as we can. Stepping the left leg back and cartwheeling the arms very nice. And then cartwheel the hands either side of the right foot and step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg comes up, bend the knee, open the hip. And then keep opening the hip up to the ceiling, step the left leg back and open up. And then left arm comes down, step the left leg through and drop the back knee. Inhale, rise up, and exhale, hands together, and start to open the chest, sinking the hips forward. Coming up. Hands frame the left foot, lift the right knee and drop the right heel down so it's in line with your left foot, opening up, warrior two. Reach the left arm forward and come into peaceful warrior. Reach back to warrior two and reach the left arm forward, bending up and out into Ardha Chandrasana. Space through the chest as the arms move away from each other, pushing out with your right foot. And make sure you can still just see your right toe in the field of your vision. Maybe you can take hold of the right foot, going into Ardha Chandrasana. And then release the foot, bend the standing knee and step the right foot back cartwheel the arms up, warrior two. And cartwheel the hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Drop the knees to the floor and bring your hands up onto your hips. And then bring the hands behind your back, fingers facing up and elbows back. Start to lift the chest as you push the hips forward. Staying here or dropping the hands down to Ustrasana. And then if you're in Ustrasana, turn the hands around so the fingers point towards your sit bones. And start to bend the elbows until your elbows touch the floor. Drop the head down, bring the sit bones between the heels. Coming into Supta Vajrasana. Or coming down to this any way that is available, so you can come back up from Ustrasana and just sit down. Walk back onto your elbows. If this is enough, stay here, or come all the way down. But we just want to get into our quads for a moment before we're going to come up into our Shukrasana wheel pose. So gently push yourself back up. Sorry, just trying to see the time. And swing your legs around. So your legs are in front of you. Come into Dandasana, stick pose. And then walk the hands back. So they're about one hand's distance behind you. And then push the toes forward and down, lift the hips up, Purvottanasana. And exhale, release. Bend the knees. And just take a moment in a supported Navasana. Of course, you don't have to support if you really don't want to, but we're not trying to have a big core workout, so not necessary for today. And then let yourself rock back, lift the legs over into Halasana, and then come down vertebra by vertebra. Bring the feet down with the legs bent. And now you want one hand's distance between your sit bones and your heels. And knees in line with your hips, feet in line with your knees. And we start to peel the pelvis up off the floor. Slowly coming up our shoulder blades until we get to the top of the shoulder blades. Push down with the feet and lift your heels up. Bring the heels down. Lift your toes up. Bring the toes down. If it's available for you, bring your hands together, wrists together, and see how much more that enables you to open up your chest. Release the hands and roll the spine back down. And then you can repeat that or come to the next stage. So next stage is just we bring our hands either side of our heads with our fingers pointing towards our shoulders, and bring your elbows in as much as you can. And first we're not going to come up, we are going to come up, but just into our heads. So you inhale, lift the chest and the head and drop back onto the top of the head. Stay here. And then drop the head back down. Come back to lie on your back. So if wheel is not in your practice, obviously there's not a teacher in the room with you, and you have to be responsible for yourself. So if you're feeling like you want to try wheel, of course do, but really listen to your body. And if wheel is in your practice, then great, we'll come into it now. But otherwise you can practice coming back onto the top of the head. So hands come back by your ears, and inhale, push up, and maybe you want to walk the hands back here, elbows in, then exhale, push your hips up, chest forward. And exhale, bend the elbows, bring the head back down if you are up, and then release the spine back to the floor. Bring your hands into your chest and your belly, and feel the intense movement of energy all around your body that you've just created from that very strong pose. If you came up to wheel, or even if you were on your head, you should still feel this in your body, because we just put our sympathetic nervous systems right into hyperdrive. So you can feel that in your body now. Your body's maybe going, oh my God, what just happened? And you can see that you can use your breath to relax that back down. Okay, we're going to do wheel 2 more times, because there's no better time to practice wheel than when you've just done wheel. So, of course, if you don't want to do wheel, you can come back to bridge with just your hips lifted, or you can practice coming up onto your head, or you can come all the way up. So whichever variation you're doing, prepare and come up when you're ready. And whichever version you come into, notice what's different. If you're in wheel, can you extend your legs more? And coming back down when you're ready. Hug the knees in. And then we'll do our third and final time, bridge coming up onto the crown of your head, or full Shakrasana. And when you're ready, coming back down slowly. Bring the knees into your chest. And then bring the soles of the feet together, your hips coming out into Supta Baddha Konasana. And just really take a moment to experience all that energy that your body's created. This pure rush of adrenaline, this pure kickstart to the nervous system, that you've created in a totally safe space. And really noticing that feeling can help us to be better prepared for when we're experiencing things like that not in a yoga class. If something scary happens in the real world, this is the reaction that your body has. Your heart rate return to normal. And then bring the knees together and hug them in towards your chest. Just gently massaging the bottom of your spine. And then extend the legs in front of you. Bring the arms up over your head. And then inhale, use the core to pull yourself up to seated. And then walk the hands forward, and we're coming into like the laziest version of Paschimottanasana that you've got in you. So instead of like thinking about really getting into the hamstrings, think about relaxing the spine. Inhale, look up. Reach your arms forward. Engage the core as you really round the spine. Start to come down. Start to drop the hands either side of your body. And once you're on the floor, bend your knees into your chest again. Bring the arms out to the side and drop the knees over to the left, looking out over your right shoulder. Back into the chest, and drop the knees over to the right, look over your left shoulder. And bring the knees back to the chest. Give yourself a big hug. Pull your knees in to your chest, squeeze them. And then release back down. Extend the right leg out. Extend the left leg out. Bring your hands either side of your hips. Lift your shoulders up and let them slide down onto the mat. Inhale. And exhale. Let everything go. Start to wiggle your toes and your fingers, your feet, your hands. Bring your feet together and lift your arms up over your head. Give yourself a big stretch, lengthening everything, and then releasing. Inhale, reach. Exhale. Bend the left knee and roll over onto the right side. Push yourself up to seated with your eyes closed. Inhale, reach your arms up, and exhale, hands to your heart center. Inhale fully. Exhale fully. Inhale for on. It's my absolute pleasure to guide you through this practice this morning. Thank you very much. Anyone, that's it.
Oh, lovely.